I'm sure you may wonder what the fuck am I doing in the Siberian Tundra, as well as why am I in the middle of a huge blizzard wearing nothing but this ugly looking hat. Well, to answer your first question, we're here to meet up with a group of weebologists from the University of Fictional Science and other bullshit that came here to research the site of a great war that happened more than 1000 years ago, known as the Great Waifu War. To answer you the second question, because I'm an idiot, that's why. Achoo! God damn it. So, if you're interested to find out more about the Great Waifu War, follow me along on this dangerous journey into the wilderness, because we're about to uncover the secrets of the ancient weebs that lived in these ruins. Now where the fuck am I going? Is that Santa? So good not to be in the middle of a fucking blizzard. Anyway, we're here at the Sam ruins, right in the most northern part of the Siberian Tundra, joining an expedition team of experienced weebologists in uncovering the truth behind these ruins. This was one of the first established weeb civilizations ever known to mankind. It is said that they lived here from around 2000 BC until about 800 years ago, when they decided to migrate south to China and inevitably Japan, following the scent of anime girl armpits. But what made these tribes of weebs special was not the fact that they were one of the oldest weeb civilizations. No, it is the fact that following countless expeditions and studying the ancient fanfics and fanart on the walls, researchers have found out that apparently a great war took place around 1000 years ago between the countless tribes of weebs that were settled here to establish who is the greatest waifu of them all. It was a massive bloodshed for us, future generations of weebs, to be able to enjoy anime and most importantly anime waifus without having to kill each other. Well, most of the time anyway. To understand how the Great Waifu War has started, we need to first understand the tribes of weebs that were living here. Each of the tribes had one or multiple anime waifus that they worship and call their goddesses, establishing a whole way of life around them, like some kind of cult or religion. Each waifu tribe had their own way of seeing and understanding the world, with its own ideology and beliefs for what's truly important. They were constantly arguing over which is better, anime ass or anime titties. Those two being the primary ideologies of waifuism. But there were other ideologies, smaller ones, like those that considered the tights the best future of an anime waifu, and also people who looked for a more balanced mix. The conflict between ideologies, fight! As well as the need to conquer new territories because of limited resources of doujins that were getting thinner by each year, finally started what is known today as the Great Waifu War. Joining me today is the head researcher of this expedition team, as well as expert waifuologist and professor at the University of Fictional Science and other bullshit, Professor ShadowKill 69. It's good to have you here, Professor. So, I've been here for about half a day, or maybe a little bit longer, and I've already seen you guys found an ancient sort of relic. Can you explain to the viewers more about what it is? Sure, this is what appears to be a wooden plank with an anime waifu drawn on it. Even though the drawing is barely visible right now, the plank itself is in an outstanding condition. Our experts have determined that it is an ancient version of what today weebs would call a body pillow. So people used to sleep with them, right? Yeah, that too. But unlike today's body pillows, these were also used as weapons in battle. Interesting. Can you tell us more? How did they fight with it? Well, it's not that complicated. They would just hit themselves in the head with it. The ancient weebs were not very smart people. Not like today's weebs are any better, but still, it was mostly a way for them to assert dominance. How so? What better way to say that my waifu is better than yours than by smacking you in the head with a wooden plank that has a drawing of her on it? Fair enough. It is believed that there was an entire regiment of people fighting in the war with this kind of wooden planks called the body plank infantry. Interesting, so they did have some kind of army-like structures, right? There were many groups of fighters. There was the Rule 34 cavalry, which rode to the battle while drawing lewd fan art of their favorite waifus to showcase their magnificence. The Order of the Priests, which stayed behind and made altar offerings to their respective waifus. Offerings? Like sacrifices and shit? Nothing that extreme, even though some people would do that, but it was not the norm though. They would most likely sacrifice food or some kind of currencies used back then, anything they owned basically. Back then it was seen as a sign of power and prosperity. The tribes were competing in who can give more to their respective waifus. It drove some people to the edge of starving, barely scraping by, but for them it was well worth it. They had a saying, a happy waifu is best waifu. But I do admit that it was a bit extreme. You don't see this kind of behavior in the modern day society. Right. After spending a whole day with Professor ShadowKill 69 and his team, I have learned a lot much more about the weeb tribes that lived here and fought in the Great Waifu War. The professor believes that there were over 60 different tribes of weebs living here. Among the most powerful and notable tribes were the Church of Tsundere. They were considered the largest tribe by the sheer number of members and goddesses they worshipped. But because of this, they were also the least united among the weeb tribes. They were the kind of people that liked being physically and verbally abused by their waifus, justifying their actions by saying, "She's just shy and can't properly express her true feelings."
Oh yes, Daddy.
The Lolly Gang. They were the second largest tribe as per individual members, but not much is known about them because they were considered weirdos by the other tribes and none of them wanted to associate with them. Just know that from what the professor has told me, they were most likely to be in jail if they were alive today. The Speedwagon Bros.
Speedwagon.
They were few, but even among the ancient tribes of weebs, they have been known to have a superior intellect. The most cultured and elevated amongst all of the weebs. They worshipped the one and only true waifu goddess, Speedwagon. Unfortunately, their thin number left them with no chance when faced with the larger tribes. The Ara Ara clan. After the Speedwagon Bros, they were considered the second tribe with the most intellect. They were cultured individuals that worshipped older waifus with huge titties that spouted out the words "Ara" in front of every goddamn sentence they said. Also, they most likely had mommy issues. The Yandere Simp Squad. This tribe was not seen in a good light by the others, but unlike the Lolly Gang, they were just labeled as weirdos but still accepted in society. They were not bad people, they were just lonely and sad, which lowered their standards to the point that they would accept any waifu, not caring if that waifu is a psycho that would kill them and anyone around if they were to be pissed off. Also, some of them had bad experiences in the past and just wanted someone loyal. The Idol Group. As the name suggests, They were a tribe that did not worship an individual goddess or type of goddess. They worshipped a group of waifus that was usually singing and dancing together. The closest comparison to modern day weebs would be the Love Life fans. Yeah, nobody liked them. The Neko lovers. This is another one that is quite straightforward. They were into catgirl waifus, as long as it had a tail, pointy ears, nothing else mattered. Most likely, their today counterparts are the Final Fantasy XIV players. And the last of the major tribes were the maid maniacs. They were into waifus dressed in maid costumes and liked being addressed as Master, or using the language of gods. Do you see this statue behind me? Well, this statue is very important. In fact, this statue depicts the reason why the war has ended. This is the statue of Kirito 77, a monk that lived 1000 years ago. Why is this important? Because this man single-handedly ended the entire waifu war by preaching an idea that was not known by the weebs of that time. He was the founder of the harem religion. As someone that was way ahead of his time, Kirito 77 was truly fascinating fellow. Tell us, Professor, how did he come up with the idea of the harem route religion? If this expedition made one thing clear for us, is that we still don't know a lot about what really happened here. We do know that Kirito 77 was a monk that came and settled here. We found an ancient text that talked about his life and how he reached enlightenment. It was said that he meditated in solitude for around 30 years before the concept of the harem route was bestowed upon him by the gods. It is said that he didn't eat, sleep or masturbated the entire time, which is impossible for a weeb as we know it. After the Enlightenment, the professor said that Kirito 77 descended from the mountain with his 13 disciples and went to talk with the chief of each tribe. As expected, some listened to him and agreed with his views, while others were reluctant and rejected him. The concept was new for that time, so people were still skeptics. Nobody thought that there could be multiple best girls, or that each individual had the right to choose who to worship without undermining the beliefs of the others. Seeing as his preachings were pointless, he did something unimaginable. He sacrificed himself for the sins of his fellow weebs and isekai'd himself for 3 days and 3 nights. During that time, Kirito 77 traveled to multiple worlds, making every anime waifu he encountered fall in love with him and ultimately uniting everyone under a single creed, demonstrating that no matter who is your favorite waifu, chances are that she is part of Kirito's harem. People were mind blown. Nobody expected the fact that there could be someone who's able to unite all the waifus like that, and everybody converted to the harem route religion, ending the waifu war. They finally could coexist in peace, and everyone was free to worship any waifu they chose to. At a certain point in time, it is said that Kirito 77 suddenly disappeared, and soon the weeb tribes decided to follow his example and leave, migrating south. They merged with other weeb tribes and continued to preach the teachings of the harem route. Nowadays, weebs have evolved a lot. We are not the same horny, brainless idiots that fought over waifus in the Siberian Tundra using wooden body pillows. No, we are horny, brainless idiots that fight over waifus in Reddit threads and Twitter posts. As for Kirito77, some claim that from time to time he can be seen on Twitter, where he leaves rude and uninspired comments about seasonal anime, comparing everything to SAO, as well as liking every hentai fanart that he stumbles upon. And with this, we end our journey in the Siberian Tundra. I want to give my special thanks to Professor ShadowKill69 and his team. This would have not been possible without them. If you are one of the 2 people that reached this point, leave a like and subscribe, and let me know if you want me to continue to unravel more anime-related mysteries around the world. This is part of a series of videos that I do about strange anime-related occurrences called Anime Happenings. This was the second episode, the first one being about a strange disease that makes people turn into shonen anime protagonists. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link, well, everywhere. Thank you for watching and see you next time.